Hey everybody, JC here. Thursday night, September 29th. This is Hurricane Matthew in the eastern Caribbean Sea, and we're going to be tracking Matthew as he moves through the Caribbean and up towards Jamaica and eastern Cuba into the Bahamas. Now, this curve right here is fairly confident, and I just want to show you water temperatures. So that green circle is where the current center of Matthew is. All this water here is 29 degrees Celsius, which is about 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, a hurricane only needs 26 degrees Celsius, which is about 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's plenty of warm water ahead of this, and it's even warmer when you get into the Cuba and the Bahamas area. I mean, that's got to be almost 90 degrees, that purple area. So there's not much stopping Matthew from strengthening once he gets up this way. He's going to deal with a little bit of shear as he moves through, but with that much warm water, and in looking at Matthew, low-level circulation is stacked underneath, strong convection. So I don't think the shear is going to do too much of a job weakening him. But I do think he is going to move and pass maybe just to the east of Jamaica, hopefully not over Jamaica, and then possibly over eastern Cuba before he gets up into the Bahamas. So again, that's what we're looking at over the next 48 to 72 hours. Come Monday morning, Matthew should be passing over this land. Now these islands have pretty high elevations. The island of Hispaniola has 10,000 foot mountain peak, and Cuba has 6,000 foot elevation. So that could, it's not going to weaken Matthew completely, but it could trip him up a little bit and maybe take 5-10 miles an hour off. We'll see. If he's rapidly developing, it's not going to do much. So let's talk model guidance. Now, this was today's 12Z GFS. And here's Matthew. Here's this upper level low that's fetching the flow off the ocean right now. So we got winds off the ocean, and we have rain moving around from the south heading into New Jersey. So that's our current rain system. But Matthew's down here, and the big players are going to come into effect a little bit further. Now watch Matthew make the turn, sharp turn right there in the central Caribbean. Moves right over eastern Cuba, emerges in the Bahamas. And now here's our main players, okay? This is the ridge, and it's an area of high pressure, so for the most part, things are spinning clockwise. Here is an upper level low diving in from the central U.S., and low pressure is cyclonic, so it's counterclockwise. So this is spinning that way, and this is spinning that way. So Matthew is going to want to slip right between those two upper level players. This high pressure forms a block, and Matthew starts to interact with this trough, almost like a capture. However, there is some weakness in the ridge, which is combating the capture pull. And what that does is it just keeps Matthew going straight up into the Jersey Shore and New York City area. And again, this is a 12Z GFS today. This is one model run. There's a lot more model runs to go between now and next Thursday or Friday, which is when this would hit us, if it's going to hit us. But let's look at what this looks like at the surface. And this is a little bit closer in. Again, 12Z GFS today. Here comes the storm. Now these tight ISO bars right here tell me that the wind's going to be pretty strong off the ocean. Should this run of the GFS verify, where the storm goes over the Outer Banks and right up the Jersey coast, you're talking about a major flooding event for the Jersey Shore. This is Thursday night. It's a 977 millibar storm. That's pretty intense, and it's right off Ocean County on early Friday morning. So the coastal flooding would start as early as Wednesday and last through Friday. Now, once the center of the storm passes New Jersey, winds will blow out of the northwest, and that'll sort of recede the tides and whatnot, but the damage is going to be done already if this were to happen. Now, other model guidance, this is today's European. Now, it's it's color-coded differently than the GFS because this is the free version of the Euro. You can watch Matthew come through the Caribbean, makes the turn, comes over eastern Cuba, maybe western Hispaniola. Matthew moves up the coast. The ridge is hardly there. It's so weak. And the upper level low doesn't really come in. So it's a very strong storm, 931. I mean, that's probably a Category 3 hurricane right there, if not 4, But with no ridge, look how it just jumps out to sea. It stays out to sea, and the worst that we end up getting at the Jersey Shore would be a little bit of minor coastal flooding, maybe some light northerly winds. That would be an out to sea solution. Now the third solution would be something that moves into the southeast U.S. coast, maybe between eastern Florida and Myrtle Beach or a little bit of southern North Carolina coast. Let me show you my probability map, and this is also on the article itself. So, again, I'm looking to have a great discussion with you, with the public, about the probabilities. What are the possible scenarios, the full range of possibilities? I'm also looking to give you an advanced heads-up warning about what is possible. Not what's going to happen, but what is possible. And if you like to plan early and make advanced preparations, then this is for you. If you are going to just dismiss this forecasting because Hermine missed, or for whatever reason, and it might be a little bit complacent, but it's certainly your right to do so, as a miss is possible right now. But moving forward, let's talk about A first. A is what I just mentioned. The storm stays a little more west in the Caribbean Sea. It crosses Cuba, and it moves up very close to Florida and smashes into, let's call it Myrtle, let's call it Hilton Head Island, in that area. I believe this is the furthest west that this can go. Now, after staying weak and going west, it would remove the damaging wind component from New Jersey later on next week. You might see widespread rainfall slide up the coast, which would be much needed. It wouldn't be the worst thing ever, but it would be a decent amount of rainfall later next week if that were to occur. Again, that's A is the furthest west possibility. B is the GFS that I just showed you, and that's where it doesn't stay as far west as A, but it does trickle west a little bit, and it comes up north, and between the trough capture trying to happen on the west side and the weakness in the ridge on the east side, it splits the uprights and it goes right into the Jersey Shore. This would be the worst case scenario. This is what Hermine would have been. It's not like Sandy with a capture by an upper level low, because this is not going to go out by Bermuda and then slam in. This is just coming due north. This is just a hurricane going into the west side of a ridge and being held slightly by some interaction with the trough. So B is the worst case scenario. C would just be an out to sea solution, like I showed you on the Euro a few minutes ago. Just the storm cuts into the Atlantic and it stays out to sea. It finds the ridge weakness and just keeps going northeast. And in that case, it's a very large storm, so maybe some fringe impacts, like we had with Hermine. Nothing crazy, just some light rain, some light winds out of the north, maybe some minor coastal flooding, but nothing too crazy. B would be the worst coastal flooding-wise, because by the time the storm gets here, even at Georgia latitude, you're going to have the onshore flow between the storm itself, between Matthew, and the high pressure that's spinning clockwise up here. So it's just going to be a very strong fetch. So A, it hits southeast U.S. and slides up the coast as just rain. B, the most catastrophic outcome. C, the solution stays out to sea. this is what I feel represents the spread of probability right now. And no solution is more probable than the other, but this is the total range of possible solutions. So, I really don't know which one it's going to do, A, B, or C right now. We really have to just watch and see if that ridge is going to be perfectly positioned right about here, and if that upper level low is going to be diving across the central U.S. and interacting with Matthew some. I think we'll have a much better idea by Sunday night as to, whether A, B, or things are leaning towards A, B, or C. But those are the things to look for. If I'm making observations and I'm saying things like there is no upper level trough and the ridge is weak, then you can expect it out to sea. If I'm saying things like the ridge is perfectly positioned and the trough is interacting with Matthew, then B might happen. So it'd be real foolish to put all eggs in one basket right now and say, listen, B is going to happen or C is going to happen. Models are going to change from run to run. Trending of the models is the most important, and beyond that, the actual live observations of the upper level pattern. Because right now we're still a week away. So looking at the upper level pattern right now, there's no way you can deduce what that upper level pattern is going to be when this storm is making its northern track towards either New Jersey out to sea or into the southeast U.S. So stay tuned. This is the best I could do right now. The article explains exactly what I just said, and everybody have a great night and be safe.